We'd like to start off with 3 silent ohms and a prayer to Swami. Swami, thank you so much for this opportunity, for all the youth across the country to get together for this talk. Please be present in this discussion, speak through all of us, and guide this discussion. We love you, Swami. So my name is Rachna Desai. I'm the female YA coordinator for Region 8 and very excited to be here. I know we said fireside chat, but I'm in Southern California and we're going through a heat wave today. It's over 100 degrees. So I'm going to pretend that it's nice and chilly outside. It's fall time. My iced water over here is a coffee, and we're going to have a wonderful dialogue today. And I will turn it over to my co-facilitator, Sri, to introduce himself.
Thank you, Rachna. Saram, everyone. Rachna, we've had a very typical rainy Pittsburgh day to equal out your. So hopefully, between the two environments, we'll have this wonderful chat. Saram, everyone. My name is Shri. I'm the male YA coordinator from Region 2. And we wanted to center today's conversation around the theme of going through what we're going through. And I think across the board, we can all agree that there's just so much for us to juggle in this pandemic environment. I know there's a lot of key words that pop up, right, that I will totally avoid instead of repeating. But, be it the SSSIO organization, our personal lives, professional lives, just various topics across the country and so much more. There's just so much for us to be constantly processing, and every day there's, more news and things like that. And at times it just can be too much. And we really wanted for this conversation for us to come together and talk about this. Really just have a raw conversation to offload our chests together as YAs, in this age, and to use this time really even to think past that and to think of ways that we can use these experiences to better ourselves and to, continue onward in the journey that Swami has for us, but with some tools and, so that we can grow and we can use every day as a way of understanding, Swami's messages as well as our own journey. And so, we wanted this to be, like Rachna said, fireside chat with our own hearts. What do you think, Rachna? What do you think about the topic?
I absolutely agree. I feel like every time I end up facilitating or helping or organizing with a certain topic, Swami knows it's very much meant for me at that time in my life. Our company is going through a major restructure. So every morning I wake up nervous about what's happening with my job. My 4-year-old had COVID a couple of weeks ago. I wonder when this COVID thing is going to end, if ever. And just in personal life, every time I open the news, even there's something that gets to me. And so I know this topic is relevant. I thank Swami for pushing me into the facilitator role. So I probably will learn the most today. And I'm excited to hand it over to Dr. Suresh Govind just to kick us off with some thoughts. And then we'll go into some Q&A. We have some questions that we've received already that we will start off with. And then if anyone out there in virtual land would like to put some questions in the chat, you may not see it pop up. It's going to come to the host. So we'll see it and filter through. If there's similar questions, then put them together and ask Brother Suresh to answer those questions. So it is now my honor and privilege to introduce Brother Suresh. We are very excited to have him here today. He is a professor and former head of the Department of Parasitology, Faculty of Medicine at the University of Malaysia. He has written several chapters and publications by the World Health Organization and supervised more than 100 elective, diploma, graduate, and postgraduate students, including the doctorate level. He is the recipient of many honorable awards, including the prestigious Malaysian Toray Science Award. Dr. Suresh Govind served as the Deputy National Youth Coordinator, Vice President, and President of the SSSIO International Organization, Malaysia. He has been instrumental in many national building programs in the country and has traveled extensively around the world to speak to educators and members of the Organization of Human Values and Selfless Service. He has authored 7 books, mainly on human values and teachings about Bhagwan. He is currently the chairman of the Board of Trustees for Malaysian Unity Foundation and chair of the Sri Sathya Sai Scriptural Studies Committee for the SSSIO. He has been involved with the SSSIO for over 30 years. And I must say, brother, I know I try to memorize the main bullet points for most people's bios because I hate just reading it off a piece of paper. But for yours, there was just so much, I just didn't want to miss anything. So again, welcome. We'll turn it over to you to share some thoughts with us. And thank you for being here, Sairam.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this beautiful introduction. Sairam, by the infinite grace, love, and compassion of Bhagwan Baba. We are here for a satsang to understand our own inner nature, appreciate our role and relevance towards the expansion of our own consciousness, and try and do something meaningful with our life, at least during the most active and dynamic phase of our youth. So the thing about most interesting thing is that why I'm so passionate about youth is because I entered into the Sai Baba movement or Sai movement when I was a youth. And that's why compared to all other wings, youth is a very special place because I came into the youth movement as a youth and participated fully. In fact, I was so possessed by the activities that my father used to get worried whether I really have time for anything else. I'll just immerse myself all the time in the activities, involve myself in drama, plays, and all that. The objective of the Sathya Sai Baba movement or Sathya Sai Youth Wing at that time, I'm not sure that I'm sure it didn't change now, but even at that time was to help facilitate the blossoming of human values, to help people develop human values, to make sure the blossoming of skills, talents, capabilities, competencies. So when I come to the center used to be like a hub. Everything that I am today is a result of my involvement in the center. And everything that I am today is because of the interactions that as a youth or the youth wing and the adults made together. Because the adults have got experience and expertise. I don't want to waste my time going through every single little thing to think about the processes and all that. But when you have a facilitation process, you accelerate your growth much faster. So there's a lot of interaction between the adults, and especially the likes of Brother Jega, who was our mentor at the time and still now. He's the one who fostered the youth in a very great way, and I'm really a product of that. So the whole aim that I'm trying to say is that the center is the root. The roots of the Sathya Sai organization is the Sai centers. You take away the roots, the whole organization will fall. So it's the roots that we now need to water. So that's the time then we used to go through the center and actively participate in all we used to dramas, sketch, songs, choir, choreography of dances, everything. It was, you believe me, if I tell you everything, I mean everything. That's how we used to spend our time in the organization, in the Sai centers. So because we were fostered, the leadership was fostered and everything was given opportunities like that, so many of us grew in that manner. But I realized one great truth, and this is something that I like to share this with the youth. Bhagavan said that in Krishna's Bhagavad Gita also it stated, Swami also said, if you do my work, you dedicate your work to me, your entire yoga shema for this life and the next, I will take care. This is something that you really need to know. This is the formula. Your entire yoga shema for this life and the next, I will take care. So yoga shema means to get, to obtain. Shema means to maintain. So whatever you want in your life, I'm prepared to give you. And whatever you need to maintain, whatever that I give you, you need to maintain, that also I'm willing to look after. And yes, Baba, only this life? No, including next life. Wow. And I sometimes wonder why you said that. Simply because in case you come back, you have no reason to come back, because by the time you go through me, you definitely be qualified. But just in case there's a slip up and you come back, I'm also willing to take care. So I looked at the whole equation and saw that my own boss looks after me until I retire from work. But my big boss there tells me that I can look after you for this life and the next. I think if you look back at it, equally, you find that that is more rewarding. And that is what I decided. Hey, whatever said and done, my master will look after. And I plunged into the work. And I think many of you know, I related many times my story to many people that when I came into the college and the university, when I came into school, so Form 6, I did very badly. I did very, very badly. I failed my exams. You guys your IQs are much, much more than mine. And many of you on the Bay side, every time I see everybody is in the startups and ITs and at the age of 31, you guys are really baby. In my case, I failed my exam and I was really didn't know what to do. And I was really didn't know exactly where to go. So that was the most confusing period in my existence. And that's when I went into a college. And when I went to the college, I really didn't know exactly what else to do, but I just did it simply because I was interested to get my parents. My parents wanted me to call me a doctor, and I saw the results, and the results were very bad, believe me, very, very bad. So I went into college and decided, I took a vow and said that whatever happens, my parents will call me a doctor. So it was at that time in the college that Brother Jaga came into my college, gave a talk, and then I literally followed him back to the Sai Center. And ever since then, for the next 30 years, I was never to leave that organization or center because I completely plunged myself into the activities. So while I was doing my degree and while I was struggling with my master's and everything else, I was completely plunged in organizational work, center work. I didn't have anything else. I just focused on exactly his work. And suddenly I found everything growing. I found that whatever in life, I published more than 170 papers and more than 270 conference papers. I'm one of the 16 scientists who sit in the WHO. Everything came as a result. My whole house is full of rewards and awards. I won every award that was to begin. I was given the National Young Scientist Award. I was given the Malaysian Toray Award and many other awards, including Indian Outstanding Parasitology Award. So my point here is that I think the formula is right. If you do my work, I will look after your Yoga Shema in this life and the next. For us to believe in that, we need to have confidence. Sometimes we find that our element of confidence is very wavy. Sometimes I see the youth always saying, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overthinking, it's too much, I can't think. So I really think that what we really need to do is to expand our mind and expand our heart and expand by connecting towards God and continuously serving God and helping him in his mission. You find that a lot of things can be accrued. So the most important message I think I want to tell you, all of you, is develop the confidence that God will look after. Number two, the thinking processes must become refined. And the calmness, that means we must now decide in our life that we have come into the world, we must try and look at ways and means on how we should give to the world. Once you have decided to provide gift, then you find there'll be no more reasons that can stop you from giving. So it's a question of how much you want to give, where you want to give, and what you want to give. If you can decide those things very objectively and very intrinsically, then you find many things will start opening up like that. So I think the key thing is that expansion of consciousness, expansion of our heart, and our commitment and engagement. I'm speaking from proof. I'm not a senior who parachuted somewhere or sitting in some position. No, 30 years. I came in as a young youth. It took me 25 years to become a president of the Sai Council. Not that I was ambitious for that, but 25 years going through the whole rigmarole of the whole organizational protocols, hierarchy. So I know what the difficulties are. I know the differences. That's why I can sympathize with some of the things that is being said. I can really empathize with it. I know what the feeling is because I've been through that. And as a result of that, involving myself very deeply, I feel the youth is one of the most exciting phases. And going through is a very powerful subject because you're now going through a very turbulent time. And I feel this is the most exciting time to be going through. Whenever you go through a turbulent period, it means time has come for us to re-look back at our life. It's nothing to do with the world outside. We need to now re-look back. Number two, we need to adapt and adopt to changes. If you keep thinking the same way you have been thinking, the dinosaurs did the same way, and today they're not in existence except in the Jurassic Park movies. So the point of the story is that it's a clear signal when the world is changing and we seem to have a difficulty in coping with the changes, it means we need to change. We need to adapt. We need to see the whole landscape is changing. So the landscape changes demands that we now need to look within ourselves to change. So the changes can only happen at three levels: the physical level, mental level, and the intellectual level, which is what most of our experiences are. But there is a fourth dimension that Bhagavan has come to remind us, and that is what he always reminds us by saying Atma Sarupalara, the embodiments of Atma. And we are the Atma. So that power of the Atma, if we can tap and we can bring it out into the world, then I think we have transcended, and we have the ability to tap and do and excel in our own career. But the most importantly, experience peace and happiness. And that is what Satisai Bhagavan has come to give us. And we can easily achieve this through the organization. Make sense?
Yes, absolutely. A lot to think about there. So I think I would start off, brother, by asking this question. You said Swami's work, and I think one of the most obvious, I guess, roadblocks that the YAs have faced as of late is the pandemic. I hear a lot of, we want to help during COVID, but how can we? It's not safe. What are some service projects we can do? How can we get involved? But, we're not allowed to get together. We're not allowed to be in person, and things are slowly opening up, which gives us some hope, but that definitely slowed things down and the momentum that we had before. So how would you address that? What are some ways that we can think through that? You said change your mindset. What are some things that we can think about?
If this was 1940s, when we are going through World War I and World War II, how would that happen? Oh, the buildings are bombed, the people are dying, the food is hungry. Oh, there's a lot of changes. So what can we do now? We are in complete. Don't you think the confusion at that point of time is much higher than the confusion at this point of time? Somehow we went through, and then we had World War II, and that was another utter confusion. And there's periods of the world has always been having effects and having many types of turbulences. The ocean must have waves. If the ocean does not have waves, then what is it? It's not an ocean. If we are living in Lord Krishna's time, the Kurukshetra battlefield, thousands of people fighting. Wow, that's a real thing. I'm so confused, Krishna. At least Arjuna had someone next to him to clear his confusion. So in that sense, he was the lucky one. But the point here is that throughout our phases of life, there will always be confusion. Always there will be uncertainty. Always there will be issues. We cannot stop that confusion, because that is the nature of the world, to continuously pose the challenges. Our point is that, hey, whatever challenge is there, do we have the capacity and the capability to answer those challenges, to be at the time? That's the only point that we have, not to be overwhelmed by the challenge. Any challenge that you have, so this same thing, chapter 1 of Arjuna was the same thing. He collapsed. He said, I cannot fight anymore. I'm not, why should I fight? I'm so, he was so overwhelmed also. Yeah, that's right. I'm so overwhelmed, I need my space. Of course, Arjuna never said those lines, but technically, if you look at it, I don't want to fight. I'm not capable of doing it. It's better I withdraw. It's better I be neutral. It's better I be. This was Arjuna's dialogue. 17 chapters. The Gita is all about rehabilitating such a thinking process and put him in the forefront and face all the challenges in life. So therefore, the trick of the game is that to be prepared and to understand that life is about challenges, full stop, period. And the examination is outside. So we are all in this examination hall, and sometimes the paper can be a bit tough. Sometimes the paper can be easy one. So now this time the paper is a bit tough. So when we are tough, we just have to study harder. What do you mean by study harder? Learn to go within, meditate, be calm, be controlled. This one, whatever said and done, I must make sure my mind is available. So this is the sadhana that we must now have. It is not to look back in the world outside and be overwhelmed, but to look within and get the strength. That is what it is. Don't you think so?
I agree, brother. I think that, to your point, that confidence is the hardest thing, right, to develop over time. And you had mentioned, that formula being, do my work and I will maintain, and I'll give you and I'll sustain you, right? That Yoga Shema part.
Yeah.
And you also talked about, the difficulty in coping. And I'm curious, you had mentioned the fact that your grades and expectations from your family. So what were some practices that you had or experiences that you had that helped you develop? You said it so powerfully too, that, confidence is sort of the solution. And I imagine there's, so many different stories that kind of got you to that place. And I'm just curious if we could hear one of them.
So my life actually, I can write a book, maybe sometime, maybe somebody must take a movie. but I think it's so full of turns and twists and turns that sometimes it's an amazing adventure. All throughout like examination and going through and everything else has always been that. But whatever said and done, at the end of it, in all the turmoils, my mind is always on Swami. I must do this. Bhagavan, how do I? This is my thinking. How can I make this happen? How can I expand the organization? What can I do? Swami, how can I? So this is my thinking all the time, everywhere. Whenever I go, whatever I see, if I go somewhere and I see if you ask the last retreat when I came to Chicago, before they took me to just after taking me to the hotel, I said the first thing I want to do is I want to go to the downtown areas. So they took me to the downtown areas and I saw all the problematic areas. Then I came back, and when I spoke about the community adoption program, I had the first-hand view of that. I had the first-hand view of that place. So it's always about looking at this. So in my own personal life, there were a lot of other challenges that came by. I can enumerate a lot of things. In fact, I did mention that in the recent retreat. Of the various issues, but I'm not sure which one is the one that you think is the most. Do you have a choice? Do you have something that you want to hear?
No, I think any story would be excellent.
Yeah. So when I'm doing my studies, and I'm the eldest in the family, and when I'm studying, the elders in my family depended on me, and my scholarship money that I got. I'll share my scholarship money I got. Half of it I give it back to my parents because they need to sustain. And I lived on a very minimal sum. I stayed in Johor Bahru, which is another country, and traveled by 3 buses to cross towards Singapore, where I took my PhD in National University of Singapore. 3 buses. The traffic jams is about 2 hours. So it was really hectic. And people said, how do you do this? You sit in one country and travel the other country. And I finished my lab work, and every time I finish that, then I'll run to other Singapore centers and implement the teen youth activities or implement the youth activities. When I come back to this country, weekends I will be busy with the center work in the place where I was staying. And sometimes in some weekends, I used to fly back to Kuala Lumpur because there was a drama festival. So they wanted me to help them to do the directions and all that. So it was in this midst of it. So when it was in this midst, my PhD was not progressing, 6 months it was going down the line, and finally my professor told me, I think you may need to change the subject. And I was stunned. Change my subject? How can I change my subject right in the middle of this? He said, there's nothing, we ourselves have come to a roadblock. So I seriously think you may need to change the subject. So it was at that time, I really prayed to Swami and said, Swami, I've been doing your work, really doing your work, and I'm now stuck. I don't know, the professors, we seem to have come to a roadblock. It was at that moment I know I went to the library. When I went to the library, I sat down and picked up the newspaper. And I tell you, the real reason why I picked up the newspaper is, I'll be very honest, to see where is the nearest theater. Because I had to go for a movie just to let go. So I no more. I cannot do this anymore. So I had a mental resignation to the idea. This is the other thing, surrender. I know something must happen, but Swami, I surrendered. When I surrendered like this, I had an interesting, strange feeling, and suddenly I got up from the chair. I could see myself walking, I saw myself walking up the stairs, and I went right up to the top of the library, and there was a lot of this journal of protozoology. That's my subject. So my hand went through the journals. I can see my hand going through the journals like that. And then I picked up one journal and just randomly opened. And there was one paper there which was somewhat related to the work that I was doing. So I photostated that, took it back to the lab, and I modified that piece of that paper. I modified that, and then I did that work, and within 2-3 weeks, I got the results. So, and that not only I got the results, I published the paper, and that was a hit. That was a real major breakthrough. So most people take 3 to 4 years to finish the PhD. I really finished it in 1 year, 8 months. So I finished that PhD. I got about 4 or 5 publications in ISI Tier 1 journals at the time. So my professor said, you have to wait another 2 months before the minimum time is 2 years. So I know this is all Bhagwan's grace. Swami's grace, where you're stuck and you're not sure, but you give your time and energy and you just want the whole purpose. That doesn't mean that you just do Swami's work and don't do your work. You need to do your work. But the point of the story is that feeling must be there. The connectivity must be there. I have never said in my life that I have no time. I have never said to anybody or any group of people, anyone in this world who have ever asked me for help or anything, I've never said no time. I cannot do. This vocabulary doesn't come to me. Why is it doesn't come to me? Because I'm eternally obligated and I'm eternally grateful to Bhagavan. So the point of the story is, I just wish that I had the gratitude of a dog. In Japan, there's a dog called Hachiko. I think you must have seen that, you know that story. Hachiko was a small puppy, and this dog, which was a small puppy, this master always was playing with the puppy, and the puppy will come to the railway station and the master will go to another station, and at every 5 o'clock the puppy will run and wait for the master to come back. So every day the dog grew, and all the time at 5 o'clock the dog will come to the railway station and wait for the master to come. Then one day the master in the other town, part of the town, while he was giving a lecture, he was a professor, he gave a lecture, he died, heart attack. This dog continued to come and wait at the railway station. So everybody, he keeps coming. 5 o'clock, one day he will come. Then the following day, 5 o'clock he'll come. Then the following day, 5 o'clock he come. He came like this, not for a few days. He came like this for 9 years, 9 years, till the Japanese government built a Hachiko, built her dog, built a statue in that station. Today it still exists there. So I used to think of that story all the time. If that dog has that loyalty to focus on that master and wait for 9 years, how come human beings, we don't have that dedication and that commitment? All this that were given to us is given by him. The fact that we are busy, we have a job is given to you by the brains to work is also his grace. The ability, the capability, all are his. When everything has been given to us, then the whole thing that he's asking for is engagement and making sure that the whole idea is to, it's not that even he's asking us to work for the organization or work for him. It's by when participating like that, ultimately our souls will get redeemed. Our karma becomes lesser. Our thoughts will become lesser, because our purpose of life is really to redeem our soul. But Prema Vahini Swami said the plantain is planted, and you find that from the plantain you get the leaves, and the leaves you can be used to eat food. You can use it to wrap. You can have a lot of those toranam, they call it in Tamil, but those decorative leaves that hang, dried leaves that hangs out, which you can use it for decorative purposes. The tree bark can be used for to make bridges. All these are, some we say, are incidental purposes of the purpose of planting a plantain, but the real purpose of planting a plantain or planting a banana plant is to get banana. So the real purpose of life is to redeem our life, to return back. So this purpose, if it is aligned, that's why Swami said 2 things we must never forget: death and God. So we must never forget this. The rest of it is all just, you know, part and parcel. But if you forget this, then I think we are lost in Islam. Like the spaceship that is landing in the moon. If you notice, the astronaut lands on the moon, but there's a cable there, isn't it? There's one cable. So the moment the cable snaps and he says, no, I'm too busy, I have no time to come back. Okay, the cable snapped. And what's happened? He floats around. Yes, he may have the whole space, but what to do? He doesn't get back home. In the same way, the cable is pushed with us. The cable is to be pulled back. We can do whatever that we want to do, but the main thing is finally, we must know how to go back home and not get lost in the world. So this ability to stay focused and dedicated is a human quality that we must have. If not, what else? How else can we be called human beings? Don't you think so? Am I right? Am I making sense?
Yes, absolutely. So I think, brother, one thing based off of what you just said that I hear a lot from YAs, myself included, is this as soon as my toddler is bigger and independent, I'll dedicate more time to Swami. As soon as I'm done with my master's, as soon as I get into a college, as soon as I'm married, how do we work this time for Swami instead of this as soon as always floating to the top?
So as soon as is the words of illusion, the words expressed by illusion. It's a beautiful word giving you the ability to think that this is all going to happen when that becomes the reality. But it doesn't happen, believe me. I have known people who say, brother, I'm in business. Let me get my first million. I'll come back, brother. I'm telling you 20 years now, still have not come back. He has achieved his million, because when you have $1 million, you'll have $2 million worth of problems. So you'll continue to solve your problems. That's the deer concept, as soon as I catch the deer, I will come back. And Rama went after the deer. Remember, the deer went after, and finally, he went after the deer and lost his deer one also at the same process. So the whole point is that it's an illusion. That fact is, it just keeps going up, going up. You can never achieve that. It's now, if you have the ability now, I'll do whatever it is. That is what sacrifice is all about. Sacrifice is not about when everything is ready, everything is all right, I come to do. That you don't need anything normal people will do. Okay, give you a good example. That story of the Dhobi, the Swami is always quoted everywhere, where Bhagavan went and read a letter, and the letter had few coins. And when he read the letter, Bhagavan, the youth, one young boy has written, my father sent me this money to wash, give Dhobi clothes. I saved that money and I'm putting this money for you so that you can at least buy a few bricks for the hospital. So Swami read that and Swami said, this is not little money, this is crores and crores of money. For me, this is all very powerful words. This is not little money, this is crores. So how God sees is that it's not the money value. What does it? It is the sacrifice behind that money value, isn't it? So when I cannot give you my time, that is why that was the motivation. When I was studying, I cannot afford to give this one. I cannot afford to, but I went ahead and gave the time and energy. I found the results coming back now. Because the simple reason is that this dedication must be there despite everything that you have. Not wait for the next, wait this happen, wait until that happens. I'll finish this job and I'll come back. It doesn't wait. So let me, people say no time, isn't it? No time. I will come, no time. Suddenly after working, I'm working from morning to night, I have to work. I'm in the IT world, brother. I'm in this. Okay, fantastic, great. Okay, you all are busy. Now suddenly one day, can you come to the Sai Center? No, brother. I will come, brother. Wait, brother. I will come, brother. Once I get that app done, once I get my startup done, I'll come, and all that. And then while you're walking and running around, suddenly from the nose, one trickle of blood comes down. You take a white handkerchief and wipe it. Suddenly you find the handkerchief is red color. You're alarmed. And then you go to the clinic and the doctor check. And then doctor said, well, it's a bit late. You're having third stage. Okay. So now what's going to happen? Time. So now you actually have no time. When you really have no time, suddenly you're in the Sai Center. Hey. So now, I thought you said no time. Yes, now I have no time, but now I really have no time. Then you suddenly, your whole perspective of life changes, your whole perspective of job changes, your whole perspective of relation changes, everything changes because the red blood flows from the nose. Think. We need to think. This is just not a talk. This is something that you really need to think. The whole perspective just changes when the doctor informs us of this. Therefore, my dear friends, the whole purpose in life is we need not have the blood flowing through. Have this notion that perspectives in life need not be determined by circumstances. If I have the higher wisdom and the intelligence, I will know that this is my end. Before this end, I must do what I need to do. Why? And also the other thing is, it's a beautiful, exciting life. Hey, let me tell you something. I won't be in this youth movement or in the Sai movement. If it is all organization, work, and boring and dull, I'm telling you, I'll be the last person here. I am here because I think this is an Indiana Jones. It's a kind of a thing that exciting because it's a vision, it's a goal to achieve. Right now, for example, we have Baba's birthday, 100th birthday. We are thinking 1 million trees every country, every zone, every country. 1 million trees, 110 countries, 110 million. Wow. If we can initiate the whole thing and the whole world will be green, carbon emissions will be down. You find footprints will be down. We can have a chance to save the world, not for myself, not for myself or not for my children. There's one reason for that, because I don't have children. So not for myself, but other people's children. The whole world will get benefited by this effort. Don't you think it's a beautiful, noble way to live in this world? Therefore, what is important is not just mere petty, shallow goals, but ideals. Because if you have ideals, that's it. Then we have got a force to reckon with. What we now need is ideals. Youth with fiery ideals. That's what Vivekananda said. Ideal. So for that purpose, when I went to Chicago, I really went to Vivekananda's that stage where he stood. I went to the stage. I went there and stood there and wanted to feel the vibration of that thing where he roared and made sure that the whole world woke up. That is a very powerful speech that he gave, that determined to infuse ideals into young people. Today, what we now need is young people with ideals. If you have high ideals, great noble values and ideals, then we are on the right track, because ideals are like the compass that can take us out from even when we're lost in a desert.
I think that's that energy you brought there, brother, with ideas, I think is really powerful.
Yeah.
Because I think that, like you mentioned, ideas change the world. I think, the other part though, that YA is kind of sometimes where those ideas may, stop from getting into action is that they have this wonderful, beautiful idea, but it's maybe, pretty lofty, or they feel like it's not a strong enough impact. And you had talked earlier about, decide to give and decide to, what you're going to give, when you're going to give, and where you're going to give. I wonder, like, do you agree it's okay if those ideas may be really high and lofty, but starting low and easy and on the ground is okay in order to achieve those high ideas?
Okay, so when I was registering my PhD, as a student, they gave me the forms, and as I was signing up the forms, a senior professor at the back of me saw me and said, "Are you a new student?" I said, "Yes." "Oh, that's nice. What's your subject?" I said, "No, I'm in the field of parasitology." "Okay. So how long do you think you'll take to finish the PhD?" So actually, normally 3 to 4 years. That's how the normal thing. So it came out from my heart. It came to my lips, and I wanted to say 3, or I almost wanted to say 4. I don't know how my tongue slipped, and I said 2. And the moment I said 2, he laughed, and he said, "2 is a bit ambitious, my friend. It's you have to be a bit more realistic than that. It's not. It's 2." The moment he laughed at me, I said to myself, "That's it, 2. That thing is going to." So whenever people told me that 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, I decide 2, 2, 2, 2 everywhere. 2 years, 2 years, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and I told you I finished it in 1 year, 8 months. So my friends, the ideal, whether it's lofty and high, is determined by your altitude. The attitude in the mind is determined by your altitude. Fly like the eagles. To be that, you must be with the eagles. What is a greater eagle than Bhagavan? Right now, flying high. What is, okay, talk about ideals. He looked at Professor Krishlov in the car. He looked at, first heart operation is going to be there. And Krishlov looked at this Mercedes-Benz car and looked at outside. Yeah, heart operation? When? In 7-8 months' time. He saw me, they looked and it was plain. There's not even a hospital there, plain. So Professor Krishlov said in the BBC, what takes 7 years to build in London took 7 months to build in the the hospital, Puttaparthi, that hospital. What is that? Master is telling, hey, if you are spiritual, ideals are the one, goals are the one. It should be high, it should be lofty. Don't worry whether it's realistic or not. Who cares whether you don't achieve it? Aim for it. When I said 2, 2, 2, okay, supposing I missed it and said 2 years and 5 months, it's not going to be suicidal for me, isn't it? What will happen? So as long as I aim for something, and if I get it, I get it. So the whole idea, we start, Satyasai organization said, we have a 95th birthday. What did they say? They said 95 communities. Well, when it started, everybody was a bit skeptical. 95 communities you're going to adopt? Oh my God, how is this going to achieve? Today we got 157 communities adopted. How did that happen? That happened because we were able to transcend what the ideals are. Why do we need all these things? Because the world is, as you said rightly, the world is sinking. The 22nd June, this paper, WHO said, 1 billion people are affected in this world. 1 billion compared to 8 billion on Earth. That's 1 in 8, which is reported, but unreported will be probably twice the amount. That means 1 in every 4 persons are mentally affected. So the world is collapsing. Thinking processes are affected. But variant forms of diseases are coming now. Recession supposed to be hitting very soon. The water, as you and I speak, the water levels are rising because the heat. I brought sweater here to San Francisco. It's safely tucked in the bag because it is heat wave here. So it's heat wave. Oh, so much, so strong. So with this heat wave, the ice is melting, the water levels are rising. The map of the earth is going down. So what do we do as young people? What do we do? Oh, what to do? this is happening, what to do. It's like a Kurukshetra battlefield, what to do. I'm overwhelmed. It's okay. I'm not interested in spirituality. I will come when the time comes, and then there are elders also will tell you, well, spirituality is when you're 55, 60, when you're about to retire and collapse and die, that's the time you pick up the Bhagavad Gita. What kind of advice is that? And this advice is the same advice people have given me as well. And the point is, you don't need a roadmap at the end of the journey. You need a roadmap at the beginning. So my dear friends, leading a spiritual life is a courageous way of living in this world. There's no other option now. And what is the heroism? Heroism is that when nobody else is doing it, step up. I'm coming forward. Because this is the time, oh Lord, this is the earth that you created. It is collapsing. I want to be part of this ability to try and do what I can to save it. Is it numbers that you're after? No, it is about ideals that I participated somehow, whatever little I can, to help the world to be a better place to live in. So if you do this, invariably, if the world is a better place to live in, not only you get a chance to live in the same world, but your children and so on. So what happens? You move from selfishness to selflessness. That is what the whole world today is suffering, because it's selfish. And this selfishness has to be changed. And that is what we now need: young people, dynamic people to come forward. And so we had some examples I was so pleased to see some young people who have, I can't remember the name, but started startup companies. And I asked that, brother, do you often go to, he said, I always go to center. I try and do my level best. And he's a company CEO, can you imagine? Somebody who's holding such very big responsibility, but at the same time committed. For me, the excitement and thrill is that while you are high in your career, but you have never let this go. For me, that is heroism. The ability to do both, to do one. A fish can swim, but a fish cannot fly. A duck can walk, but a duck cannot fly. Horse can run, but horse cannot swim. Swami said animals can only do one thing well, and that is why it's called an animal. Human beings can do everything so well. That's why it's multi-talented, and that's why it's called a human being. So why should I just do one? Be able to do everything, flower, talents, skills, and live a life, a beautiful flower for God. Make sense?
Absolutely. And we actually have a few questions that came through the chat that builds
Please.
off of that. So we talked about confidence and ideals and confidence in God. So how do we build and sustain that confidence in God when we face unexpected or uncomfortable situations?
And then I met this girl. What a wonderful girl she is. So beautiful girl. And I wish that she would marry me. And finally, I wrote a letter. And then later she replied back. And then we both went out and we sat at each other and looked at each other. And then finally one day I produced the ring. And then she was so happy and startled to get the ring. And now, can you live with me? I like to continue this journey with you. How do you know that this girl is going to be with you the rest of your life? That is the confidence. The confidence with someone whom you love will be with you for the rest of your life. And wherever you go, whatever you do, you think about her. And that is just a girl or a boy. In divine, he said in a lecture, all your friends will come and go, but God is the only true friend, he declared. The frog, as long as the water tank is full, there will be frogs there. When the water tanks are empty, not a single the frog will be there. This is the way of the world. So when I know that the world is fluctuating and God himself have declared that, why don't I make God my special friend, my unique friend? So to make God unique friend, it is simple. The professor, I will believe in God if God declares to show himself to me. Yeah. Because I am like that. I want some God to manifest in front of me. And if he's able to manifest and do for me, and then I will believe in him. It is not up to God to demonstrate his glory. It is up to us to discover the glory in God. So when we try and do that, that comes how? Not by sitting in the room and feeling is there wind outside? Is there wind outside? You come out into the open, the wind will be blowing, the sun will be shining. You can feel the entire energy of God, isn't it? So therefore, that is the thrill. That is why I'm saying from practical point of view that I myself got plunged into those activities. And you can look back at the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, the kind of souvenir books that we did. We did 16 national programs in 1 year. We did inter-school human value drama festival, the kind of Asian festival drama. We got involved with the elders and we did it together. There was no partition. Like, this is young adult project. This is we didn't do those things. We just worked together collectively, and we worked like a big family, and we did stupendous things, because in those moments of uncertainty is where we experience SSSI. Because when you come to the frontier and we don't sure what to do, what to do, Swami is come, the grace will come. And to feel that grace coming, and you know for sure it is He that is doing it and not anybody else. So to experience that, you have to participate. You cannot sit in the side way and wait for self-confidence to be developed. It won't happen. You have to plunge into the water. Once you plunge, then you know, then nothing can shake us up, because you experience confidence. I know God will be there. I know God will be there. So this is the same experience that the cow had. And I always tell the story about the tiger was chasing the cow, and the cow flipped and fell into the pond. I mean, mud, and the tiger also fell into the pond and the mud. And both the tiger was very angry and upset, agitated, but the cow remained very calm. And the more the cow was calm, the tiger was irritated. So the tiger asked, "How come you're so calm?" He said, "Hey, you know something? You have always been taking and living for yourself. Nobody will come for you. I have always been giving. Therefore, when the sun sets, the cowherd will be looking for me. And therefore, because I know he will be looking for me, I'm calm, I'm confident." This is the secret of confidence. Confidence means you know it deep inside that he's the one who will come for you. That confidence must be experienced. 100 lectures, if I sit here until another 5 more hours, you cannot do it. You have to come, you have to participate, you have to. That is the opportunity the organization is giving to all the young adults. Wherever you are, participate, come with proposals. There are some, whereas you have this project, that project, and you have this project. Yeah, if the project is reasonable and you suggest the projects, yes, make it happen. Make the ideas happen. And that's what it is. Get into the implementation of the ideas. Make sense?
So I'm going to take it one step further and just push a little bit, because it's something I know I've experienced, and I'm imagining a lot of folks on the call have, with the way things have gone the last couple of years. The confidence, I'm going to take your metaphor one step further. You go outside to experience the wind, you're experiencing the wind. Suddenly, you know, a car comes by and hits you. Something unexpected happens and your faith is shaken, your confidence is shaken. How do you recover from that? Or what steps can you take to move back in that confident direction?
Yeah, throughout my life, a lot of cars have come and hit. So many cars.
Football metaphorical.
I can tell you very seriously, at many crossroads of points, a lot of cars have come, a lot of points have come. But whilst the car has come, I always feel, I thank God, thank you, Swami, the car has come. Lucky it was not a lorry. So my prayer is that a car has come and hit me, but it is not a lorry. The reason why it's not a lorry is because, Baba, it's your grace. That's why Swami said, the only way to become happy is that when you are bitten by a scorpion, always be happy that it is not a snake. If you're bitten by a snake, be happy that it's not a poisonous snake, like that. So you must make sure that the mind continues to go like that. So in life, you already know that inside us that this is the path that I'm going to go back. You are the father, you are the mother. You will come, whatever it is. These car passing, hitting, this is all like tests. And recently we have got a few tests that even the organization is facing. It's a test, doesn't matter. You know, Krishna was there. Can there be a bit of bigger test? And then the whole family was there. Everything was united. Lord Krishna, avatar of the yoga, was there. And he could have prevented the war. He could have done it, but he didn't. The whole point is that how do you respond to a situation is spirituality in action, not to keep the situation like that. The whole point of the Gita is that whatever that happens in our life, are you able to respond? Responsibility is to respond with ability and not keep on sitting down. Oh, it's not idealistic anymore. It is not. Idealism must be born in the non-ideal situation. Everything is contributing to idealism, and then you have the idealism is no big deal. When nothing is ideal and you are still idealistic, that is that whole thing. That's why I always say, what is the greatest ideal? The greatest ideal is to deal with the world without the I. The greatest ideal is to deal with the world without the I. So in every circumstance and situation, where is your I in this entire subject? That's where you should be evaluating. So cars will pass, they will hit also, sometimes accidentally, sometimes deliberately, all this will happen. But we must not lose focus of why we are here and what we are here, isn't it?
Absolutely, brother. And, you know, one question that came up in the chat that I think is a great question to ask at the moment is, should we differentiate between Swami's work and our own work?
Yeah. So look, everybody is doing own work. The 8 billion people are doing their own work. 8 billion, the whole world is moving because people are doing work. The immigration officers, when I came inside, they were doing their work. Custom officers are doing their work. Everyone. And if not the whole system, the car traffic, we went to Prada, all the traffic lights are working, policeman is working. It is the work of everyone that makes the whole world go through. So the difference between good work and God's work is, good work is you do social work, helping people, hungry people, helping to clean up the things. Those are all good work. But God's work is, while you do this good work, are you yourself transforming in the process? Transforming means, don't forget, we have come here to redeem our life. Baba said the river must have the ability to go to the ocean. It is flowing, it has got a lot of obstacles, but despite these obstacles, it knows how to cross and finally reach the ocean. Swami said, how come in the river, it has the consciousness to know that it has to reach the ocean? So our point here is that the system in our heart and soul must be that we are here for that higher purpose. So animals cannot think like this. See, the dog cannot think that he wants moksha. Dog will not think like that. The animals can only think at a certain level. That's it. So animals will only come to a certain point. Then there are human beings who can only come. But if we have been gifted by the opportunity to have God himself as our master, who picks us up, selects us, and helps us to develop and evolve. My God, that's a great compassion. Not everybody will be blessed enough, or everybody will be in a situation to have this opportunity to be utilized for the purposes of our self-redemption. So there are many people who are doing this, but since we are doing it, why don't you then do your work, whatever work that you're doing, but have this attitude of dedicating the results of your work to him. So your work also becomes his work. That is the point. So you're doing the office work, that's good enough. But when you're doing that work beautifully well, which is what I have done in all my science work, I always do everything. Okay, Swami, this is your work. Swami, this. So the dedication is there. So in that process, the system of the mind is kept in a certain state of equilibrium so that you will be able to be available for the purposes of Swami's work. My friends, many people tell me, so Professor, I don't have time. This is, I wish I had more time. I wish I had 20. The real reason you wish for this is because you're a poor manager of time. That's all. I'm being a bit rude here, and I'm being a bit simply because I just want to be the alarm clock that we can wake up people. So alarm clocks are not supposed to be lullaby. Sai Ram, dear brothers and sisters. Alarm clocks are supposed to be jerky and supposed to be noisy and supposed to wake up. So in other words, what we are saying is that since you are a poor time manager, you don't know how to prioritize your time. That's the problem. That's your issue. Issue is how you process, how you manage your time, is manage your thoughts. And many people's thoughts are not well managed because this overwhelming, overthinking, worried, anxiety, anxious. Hey, what are you anxious about? That's what somebody came to me and said, hey, 2012, 31st December, the world is going to end, brother. What do you think? What is your expert opinion on that? I said 31st December, if the world ends and you are the only one living, I think you've got a serious problem. When the world ends and you also are dying with it, all of us will go. So what is your issue? Until 30th, have a good sleep. They finish. Don't. So we are unnecessarily programming for anxiety, unnecessarily programming for regret. Their mind becomes disturbed and perturbed. When it is perturbed and disturbed, how then will he be able to function? So that capability of keeping that mind in a state of happiness and joy is why you need the work that you do with the organization, have a vision, have a mission, come together and do it. And not everyone would be sympathetic towards that ideal. It doesn't matter. The people who are, gather a few people and enter and do that work that you need to do, and then gather the momentum and do it. Planting trees, you think it is not important? My God, this is the more, at least there's something. If we can reach 1 million trees and plant all over USA with that amount and get youth, and not just us, we get our friends, our university friends, our colleagues, our IT friends. Hey, this Sunday we're going. Really, you're going for tree planting? Okay, we'll come with you. And if you can get those guys also to come along with you, that is making your working people along with you to spread the consciousness of planting the tree. Trees can be planted by anybody, not necessarily you have to say Sai Ram. The trees respond to all. But if you keep getting these numbers increasing like that, you are doing the good work, and at the same time you're doing God's work. Make sense?
Yes, absolutely. And One of the questions that came through in the chat has to do with, again, God's work and the work within our country. So when we opened up the session, we talked about politically, there's just a lot happening right now. So has Swami given any guidelines around getting involved and working with policy affairs of a country? Like, for example, if you see injustice happening, getting involved and working, because I believe in Malaysia, you all worked closely with the government on certain things. So how can we implement that? What guidelines around there? What has Swami said around that?
So 2 days ago, in the National Daily, I wrote an article, it came out in the papers, and I wrote about how politicians should be having high ideals. And high ideals of making sure that you must have those high ideals of sacrifice, and you must make sure that such people are appointed so that they will automatically be serving. That's coming from, and they put my name there and all that. So the point of the story is that we made a statement like that. So whenever something has happened, but what we do really is that with the government, we do actual work. That means if there is some community work that needs to be done, we don't stand somewhere and keep on shouting slogans and what difference does it make? But we get into the ground and do that kind of work that the government has respect for our work, and as a result seeks our opinion and seeks our involvement, engagement, because there is a certain respect that they give it to us. So in the same way, we also sometimes in the advisory board of the unity, anything to do with anything aspects of any turbulence, then we step in and give our 2 cents of worth in order for the country to get some ideas and some benefits. But it's not to be involved in the political aspects of things. That's not what it is. But to make sure that you are seen, you are respected. And the respect doesn't come by being with the ordinary. Respect comes when you become extraordinary. For example, when the whole government was, the nation was having issues of drugs and all that, which is very big issue. So we pushed the DARTS program, drugs, alcohol, relationship issue, time wastage, and smoking. And what did we do? We got into the university, got the university students trained, and the university students then went out and trained the school students. And as a result, now when I return back next week, I'm meeting up with the minister and the ministry for incorporating the DARTS program into the mainstream, by going around with training other youths in the thing. So what is the innovative program we have? What is the innovative? See, you guys have got the much higher IQ than most people in the world. I can tell you that. How are we using our talents to move the agenda forward, serve the country, but create programs that are meaningful and worthwhile, and then implement it on the ground and get the respect and the recognition. Now, there is a video, you can see that if you have this time. I've given, I think, Padma Shri, is that video there? There time for a little time for video? I think this is a good time. You just have a look at this video. It took a bit of time to organize this, but we managed to not only motivate the Sai youth, but motivated youth from all other religious groups. We went inside and did this training program for 3,500 youth from university, and today we have trained almost 13,000 students. Yeah, carry on.
Carried out to a few colleges, but a major initiative was carried out on 3,500 new freshies by 72 volunteers from the FGIS during the University Malaya Orientation Week in 2017. The response was indeed inspiring. We witnessed the official Memorandum of Agreement signing of these 4 stakeholders who will come together to unleash good future leaders who will lead a value-based, healthy lifestyle and volunteer to contribute towards nation building. The official signing will also mark the opening of the DARTS Prevention and Awareness Secretariat Office, located at the 2nd floor Halewal Plaza building.
It is the first time anywhere in the world that a major leading university is working with NGO and allowing the institution to be used as a base to launch a massive, what could be a massive program for humanity in the country.
We are actually in a national crisis. You cannot imagine how important this program is. Hantar dalam bus and will go to 6 sekolah. You will be teaching them about DARTS tomorrow morning.
Say no to that. what we noticed that some of them are actually involved in drugs. My section was alcohol and smoking.
And we get to understand their perspective towards drugs. And I feel that this is very important in terms of exposure and understanding why these students participate or do not participate in drugs.
Once we receive all the knowledge about drugs and then we contribute back to the society, it shows how we deliver the information, and we want to emphasize to them, once they say no to drugs, their life will be better.
That was very, very surprising for me because I did not expect that this experience of mine will be able to change the way they think, their mindset.
And of course, saya akan sokong program ni. I harap program ni terus lagi diberi pilihan kat sekolah-sekolah lain supaya diorang sedar tau isu ni dah besar kat dalam kalangan, lagi-lagi kat kalangan student macam kita orang.
Piece of advice lah, don't do drugs, it's bad for health.
Okay guys, say no to drugs, okay? Say no to drugs.
Okay, so that was the video. So, but that is a program that was done, and today we've got about 13,000 students, and this is the program that we are now taking to the ministry. You asked me whether do you have, so this is the program that the ministry wants, and this is the program. I went to Sri Lanka because 75 youth. This is another inspiring 75 youth in the country. Do you know? Can you guess how long people wait there for petrol? Yeah, because they didn't have petrol. There's no money there. There's really a city that Sri Lanka has declared bankruptcy. So how long do you think people wait there for petrol? See? Yes. Acha?
An hour?
An hour. Sri?
Couple of days.
Okay. For Hema? Or anybody else?
A week.
So the average time that they wait is 45 to 60 hours at a petrol station. 45 to 60, and the queue is about 1.5 to 2 kilometers. And yet, despite having no petrol and the food prices 3 times as high, the 75 youth, despite all the shortcomings and having 1 million reasons for them not to have it, they wanted to have a national youth camp in Jaffna, and they invited me to go there. And I was so inspired because they didn't have anything, and yet they're thinking about the organization, they're thinking about Swami, and they want to have the leadership camps. I went there, and I was so amazingly taken aback by their dedication, commitment. And subsequently, when the 2 weeks after I came back, we had a Zoom session with almost all of them. And so now we're having a continuous session with them. We are now, next week, when I return back, we will be training this youth who will then go to the universities, just like the buses, and train 3 universities to do this darts program, because Jaffna and other areas are now becoming active with this kind of problem. So it's an issue. That means to say your spirituality, you're chanting Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam and all that. So you are now chanting the Gayatri Mantra, you're doing all that, you're meditating, you're doing bhajans and all. What is the consequence of all this spirituality? It must be relevant to society, must be relevant to community. Something of this nature must be done. Maybe drugs may not be an issue in your country, but I think it is. But anyway, that's my opinion, but it might be. And some states, you already legalized that like crazy. So everybody is, so in that sense, okay, it doesn't matter if they have legalized it. Okay, isn't it our duty also to inform the people so that they can make a consent decision, isn't it? An informed decision, that when you sensitize them that what is good and what is bad, then if they want to then that's, at least you have done that homework. So we need to educate the people to make sure the discrimination is higher so that people make the right choices in their life. And that is healthy living. And this contributes a lot to mental depression and so on. So when you are having this kind of concern, you will be relevant, you will be significant. And so if you are interested in the Black issues and so on, yes, agree, then adopt a community, go inside and help the poor children in that community, give them free tuition, participate in the upliftment of the community. That's what we should be doing. That's what Swami said. Only youth can transform youth. Baba said that. It's not a simple statement. It's a powerful statement. Look, there are programs I can do at the age of 60, 65. So why should I do it now? Here, this is the time where you should hold the bull by the horn and see whether you can make a change in the life, isn't it? Now, in the camp, I talked about the fact that service. Don't think service is an extracurricular activities. If you can take groups of people towards helping old folks home and so on, is one of the best ways depression can be addressed. Many people who stretch out to wipe the tears of others can also wipe your own tears. Sadness, loneliness, depression, take them out, get them out and get them to feel for other people, get them connected. So youth have got a very big role. While you're connecting with your friends, you can have friends, you can sing songs, hey, fantastic, oh, and you do whatever you want. But as you're serving people and you're having joy and having fun at the end of the day, my God, these guys are cool. These guys are so nice to chill out with. Who are you guys? We belong to the SSSIO. We are youth. Really? Who are you guys? I mean, how and what do? I'm the startup boss. I'm the this boss. I'm the ooh, my God, you have a position and you have high there and you still have to do all these things. Where do you get the time? Because Baba said, time is God. So if I give time to God, God makes times for us in terms of expanding commitment, engagement, and you find that your Yoga Shema for this life and the next S will become a practical example, isn't it? The point I'm trying to say is I'm not motivating you. Why I feel so strongly for you is because, hey, by the way, just to let you all know, I traveled 18 hours to come here, 18 hours sitting in the flight. And I'm going to travel back 18 hours. Well, I hope so. When travel back. Now in this travel, why should I come to your country? Because it's a beautiful place. Your potentials are so huge, so huge. And America, if you wake up and do something, my friend, the whole world will wake up and do something. The whole world will look at you because everybody looks up to USA. You know that. Everybody in the whole world, Asia, you just need to have someone with the purple hair. You ask them, why is your hair purple? Oh, Americans are doing it. Why did you cut the jeans? Brand new jeans. Oh, Americans are doing it. Everybody is for. So therefore, if you also do this type of programs in a big way, it'll get magnified. See, we have done it. But we are Malaysians, okay, it's good, very good. So see, but whereas USA does it, oh, USA, my God, US. So the whole idea, my friends, spiritual, the real reason why I'm spiritual in the spiritual movement and for 30 is because it's cool. I don't think there's anything in this world that's more cool. And I tell you what, this is the best place to chill out. And guess what? This is the time, this is the only place where it can create for me more space. So I'm using all your language. And this is where I'm cool. That's why I'm the spiritual. That's why I'm the SSSIO organization. It's not to get bogged down by, oh, I have work. No, it's fun. It's exciting. It's an adventure.
Brother, I think that the DARTS program is a great example of like what you mentioned earlier in terms of just, to step up and kind of, and go out there and do something.
Yeah.
And you talked earlier about the astronaut analogy of staying connected and not just kind of floating around. And I wanted to, there's a very interesting question about how can we maintain consistency and cultivate focus and discipline through Swami's teachings? And I think that one of the things I definitely be taking away from today's session is the phrase you put out there, God's work versus good work. And I'm wondering if you could kind of share a little bit more. I know in yesterday's prep session, you also talked about the two wheels of transformation and transmission. I was wondering if you could speak along those lines.
So you see the DARTS program, our Sai youth have come inside. So they are doing the spiritual tapas, all those spiritual exercises. That's fantastic. So that's what we call inner transformation. But the inner transformation must always be accompanied by outer transmission, the ability to reach out to other people. That's where the train of success will go on these two rails. These two must go together. Because even when you go to a Sai center and you stay there and you come back, just being there after some time, it'll be boring already. It'll be dull. That's why people don't come, because it's not exciting anymore. Well, what's happening? What's the exciting thing that no, we're having bhajans. And then they're serving bhajan or food. And then after that, and then, what else you want, brother? It's bhajan. What else you want? So therefore, you see, there's nothing else exciting. No, I need to see you there because we're going to do this and I need to meet you there. And then I need to give you this document because Saturday is going to be the big thing. And there's something big and wow, exactly. I'm coming to, I do the bhajans, I do this, I do that, but I also have that to accomplish. So when you have that inner transformation and outer transformation, it's fantastic. You know, actually, to be honest, we watch James Bond movie, we watch all these movies, right? And then fantastic. And you see the heroes, wow, they've got a mission. Like Mission Impossible, there's a mission, right? So you have, your mission is to make sure that not only you should save yourself, but to save the world. This is self-destruct in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. So it's like a, you know, God is there, and then he's giving you a mission, and then now we are in this world. So while I need to work on this, I have a family, but at the same time, see, there's excitement, there's enthusiasm, there's something that is giving. Otherwise, we're just going shuttling between office and house, house and office, house and office, office and house, office and house. And once a week, we jump into the Sai Center. You know, might as well be born as a shuttlecock. You know, you can serve 2 badminton players. What a life. But if you're, but how do you think? Because the process is increasing the cap. See a juggle. If you go to a circus, you've seen people juggling like this. And then you find 5, 6, 7, 8. They are able to juggle 8, 9 things inside there. And then there's a big thing and everybody claps, isn't it? Why is it that you and I can juggle 2 and then the third one slips down? That's why we go and watch other people juggle. So when you ask, excuse me, at the back, you go to the back of the tent and ask them, how did you manage to juggle all those things? You see, I started with 2. Then I started with 3. And of course, the third one fell. I picked it up. Then I put 4, I put 5. So I practice and practice and practice. It becomes part and puzzle. So the whole point is why we are not able to juggle is because we never practice. We don't know how to practice. But when you do it in a way, it just becomes natural. So this is why the rabbit asked the millipede, 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 why is it that you can walk with so many legs? The moment the millipede analyzed, it curled up. Too much of analysis causes paralysis. That's the problem. My friends, the problem with spirituality is don't spend too much time analyzing things. Because if you go to if you take a flight, now I'm taking the flight. Well, hopefully I take the flight and I sit there. And then I go to the pilot. Excuse me, can you show me your license? Why? I want to see your competency. Do you have the capacity to fly? Now, supposing another aeroplane comes, can you show me how, if I disturb him every 15 seconds or 15 minutes, my God, I'll be disturbing the flight. But I don't do that. I sit quietly and allow the pilot because I have surrendered to the pilot. I have surrendered to someone who I don't even know. My entire life is in the hands of that pilot who's going to take me and reach somewhere, isn't it? So if the pilot I can surrender to, why is it that I'm not able to surrender to God? Why? It's because you just need to what we call let go and allow him. Let go, allow him to do what he is come to do. Just surrender and just be focused in his work and attention. A lot of things will expand in ourselves.
So I think that word surrender is a loaded word. It comes up time and again in study circles and amongst YAs especially, I think. And how would you rather characterize surrender? You know, we're youth, we're bombarded with information, we pride ourselves on our intellect, and with everything going on, whether it be within the organization, within the world, politically, America is very divided. Where is it where we surrender and just kind of let things happen versus take on that information, ask the pilot for his license, whatever it may be, and process what's going on in the world around us so that we can take a next step? Where is that line? Is there even a line?
The point of the story is that the surrender, the moment we say, I go to the altar and put my problems at Swami's feet, when I turn back, what's your mind? Am I thinking about the problem? If I'm still thinking of the problem, means you have not surrendered. That's all. But if I put everything on Swami's feet and I turn around, I find equanimity, I find peace. I don't even think about the problem. And people, hey, despite the huge problem, you're not thinking about it. I just let it go, let it. Swami said, if you have that understanding, then it means that you let surrender. Most people don't. When they surrender, put everything in Swami's feet, and then when you return, you take that whole thing back because you're coming back next week, see? So you bring back the same problem back again and you increase the problem. And so we do not know how to let go because you think Swami won't be able to be. And Swami said, I am aware of everybody's problem. I'm aware. But if you're going to load your head with everything in the world and consume yourself with all the information in the world and put all the data, which is absolutely useless to you and is no point, and you can't even do anything with it, then what? So I read the statistics of the drugs in the country, and our youth and we implemented, all of us implemented the DARTS program. Teenage pregnancy is rising up. So now we read, oh, teenage pregnancy is rising. What to do, Swami? What to do? Now we implemented the program called Values, Innocence, and Purity, and got our girls to go to school, and they are teaching the girls how to remain pure, how to remain not to be affected by this. So what is that? A response to the news. So there's no point getting information when you don't know how to respond. It is better you don't get any information because you'll be too overwhelmed, because you do not know how to process the information. What you can do, do. What you cannot do, just forget about it and focus on what it is important, because otherwise you'll be mentally affected, emotionally affected, and not to mention intellectually compromised.
So a sister just asked in the chat something that goes through my mind, how to not think. You said, don't think, just surrender, but our minds tend to go into that thinking cycle. So how do we not think?
So overthinking, Bhagavan said, hey, now comes the Swami. This is Swami said, I didn't say. Swami is one powerful insight. Every time I look at this particular statement, I feel very extremely humiliated. Swami said, hey, do you know your mind is like a monkey? Swami, how can you insult me like that? Sorry, very sorry, Suresh. It is not monkey. He is a mad monkey. Baba, you even insulted me even more. Oh, sorry. It is not mad monkey. It is mad drunk monkey. Baba, you're further insulting me. Why do you insult me like this? Oh, I'm so sorry. One more term. Not only mad drunk monkey, but a monkey at the same time bitten by a scorpion. Can you imagine? Scorpion, if you mad monkey, he's jumping around and he's drunk. So a monkey itself is totally out. He's got two qualifications, mad and drunk, and bitten. This is the state of the mind. After insulting us, after humiliating us of this nature, that is to say, Bhagavan, is this what you think of my mind? Yeah, right. So if this is what we think of, what he thinks of the mind, then why should we prove it? See, what you told me just now is what we are proving the point. Because the mind has got the ability to jump and be drunk, and when you are not in control of the mind, the whole purpose of the mind is that you must have control of the mind. I'm coming to the airport, and Brother Shiva Vaturi is supposed to pick me up. So I wait at the airport, and after 2 hours, I ask him, Brother Shiva, where are you? Oh, I'm so sorry. I was coming to the airport, but my car decided to go to the railway station. Now what happens now? So what happened? Your car makes decision? My car does. Now he's waiting at the railway station for 2 hours, and I'm here at the airport. So it is like that. I have decided to go here, but my mind, which is just my vehicle, is now decided to go somewhere else. If the mind decides to go somewhere else, I'm not in my control. Baba said, you have to control. But Swami said that not only you have to control, you have to manage it and you have to master it. That's why you call mastermind. So Krishna gave that secret of that is that when the birth of Krishna, when Krishna is coming out of the jail door opened, but before the jail door opened, all the guards slept. So my dear friends, the secret of life is, if you want to realize Atma, your senses have to be numbed. Your senses have to be silenced. Information grasping from the world has to be lessened. Then only the mind can be still. It's only then the jail door can be open. Then only can Krishna, who was born in the jail, can come out. Isn't it? But who knows this? We said, Janma Ashtami Krishna, what do you do? Gopala, Radha Lola, Murali Lola, Nandalala. We sing, and then go for the Krishna bhajans, and then go for the this one, the prasadam and all that. Krishna today, how was bhajan today? Was so nice. Krishna bhajan was so beautiful. And then the picture of Lord Krishna is there, and he's standing there. Hey, I gave you a secret, Lord, to come out of this world. I gave you a secret formula to come out of these blockings of the three worlds and transcend and reach the Atma. This is the inner message. Krishna. So what do we do? Wait for the next Krishna Janmashtami and celebrate Krishna. In the same way, we get deluded. So the secret of how to think is already put into our system, but we are not wanting to think about it. So this is what is meant, because our system goes to overthinking and overwhelming, but we are not reflecting upon what it is. Make sense?
Absolutely, brother. And I think that to your point, you had mentioned earlier, that you were being blunt with us, and you said, that we sometimes lack time management. And I think to your point earlier about being in control, goes hand in hand with time management and prioritization, which means we have to say no to something, right? And I think that sometimes the challenge is we feel guilty on saying no to certain things, right? What are your thoughts on that guilt? Yeah.
Yeah, this is the reason why before any bhajan, okay, what's the first song you sing? First bhajan song, before any bhajan song, what is it?
Ganesha.
Ganesha. Why you sing Ganesha?
Remove obstacles.
And Shiva cannot do that, his father?
Of course.
Yeah, so his father can do, then why he cannot do that? Why should that removal of obstacles should be attributed or ascribed to Ganesha?
Because he was given that boon by his father. You're putting us, our SSC education, on the spot.
Okay, so this is the point. Yeah, the point here. Look, this is Ganesha has got an elephant trunk, right? So I'm just trying to signify to you every signal, every symbol in the entire whole thing is beautiful. It's a map. It's a treasure map. If you are not careful at this, trying to understand the treasure map, you'll never understand the treasure. So the point is, the elephant trunk has the capacity to be put into muddy, dirty water and take only clean water. That means to say, it's a symbol for discrimination. So the first quality of a spiritualist should know how to discriminate, because you already realize that I must go to that path. So whichever that contributes for me to go to that path, I take it up. Whichever that is not contributory, I must have the discrimination and the power and the willpower to say no. Once I know how to say no, you find that the whole time management process is thought management. If your thoughts are neat and well put, you have got no issue. The problem here is that when you pull out the family, there are family issues that pop up, and this bogged down, and then suddenly the office issues, and then the boss issue, so it's like a mosquito. Actually, it's like a mosquito gone into the head. If it's a mosquito, you can beat, but the mosquito now is in your head, and this is annoying. And this annoyance is what this mental health is all about. If you know how to clutter, if you know how to categorize, if you know how to keep it safely, that is a training, just as how you go to the gym and train the muscles. In the same way, we need to train this. That is what that's what the spiritual activity is all about. If you're not participating in that, then how will this training take place? It won't happen. So you need to plunge in, participate. Because Baba said, of all the penance, of all the tapas, fortitude is the most important. Fortitude means the ability to manage every of these things and have that patience and resilience and perseverance to do this, isn't it?
Absolutely, brother. I mean, I think that the point that you made in terms of consistency and perseverance, I think, we had in the beginning, you had talked about, Swami's formula, right? Of do my work and the yoga shema, maintain and to give to you. And, in the beginning, I was really kind of like asking the question internally about that formula of, how do you get there? Because it, for me at least, feels like it's going to be a long journey. But I am more assured now, given the fact that you've given us that sort of answer on perseverance and, consistency, because I think that is going to be, the secret to keeping us and tying us over to the end. So I really thank you for those nuggets. And our session throughout today has been just so informative. Rachna, do we have any other questions in the chat that we want to?
Sri, one point you mentioned is you want to you said how this is a long journey and you have to take that step. The first step, now for example, you're working in the office and Thursday evening there's a bhajan. So what now mind arranges itself. So, okay, like guys, I have to go for the bhajan. It starts at 8 o'clock or 7:30, whatever it is. I have to leave the office at 5 o'clock. So I arrange my life according to, I tell my mind, I have to be in the bhajan. You understand? I have to be in the bhajan. So you tell your mind. So the world arranges it accordingly and make sure that you're available. That is the first step in the perseverance journey. So make yourself available. The whole point is that, and then that becomes a practice. That becomes a practice. That because the world never wants you to go towards a spiritual line. Let me tell you that. Because the more I tell you, the moment you say 5:30, you want to leave the office, that's the time when you will find 200 things coming onto your table, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, I need to finish. You need to finish. I need to, everything will come because that's how Maya works. So guys, listen, I already told you 5:30, I can come and work on other days if you want later. You know, our youth, that's one program, but our youth goes to school. There's a program called Student Training in Attitude and Responsibility, and they take 1 hour off and go to government schools and go to the E-class. That means E-class means really poor class, and stay with them for 1 hour and transform them. Really poor, this is O-level boys, means Form 5 boys, and boys and girls, and they do 1 hour. So they have asked the boss's permission. So they go for 1 hour and stay back longer hours in the office because they do this. So, and amazingly enough, this is that STAR program became very successful, and the students benefited because for them to juggle that is perseverance. That means you need to make a determination that this is what I want to do. And that is what, so that if once that you want to do, it's take priority. Once priority is there, okay, now you are coming to the center. Okay, you are coming there. Now you see the younger boys there, younger boys. Then you, hey, Sairam, how are you? Okay, great. Now what happens? The younger ones look up to you all as young brothers, senior brothers and sisters. So where are you? Oh, fantastic. And I think great. So now this fellowship, this bonding, this binding. I want to talk to you. I don't know, these days I feel a bit tired. I feel very overwhelmed. Really? And then you're sitting with them and you're coaching them, you're mentoring them. That's the biggest help we can do as senior. I mean, not we, you all can do as senior. I like to, so we can you to help them and mentor them to come to a certain place, isn't it? So if we ourselves don't appear in that place, and then we ourselves don't identify and connect to people, then how will people improve? People won't change. Your point is, don't forget, good work and all this is fantastic. And there are some people, I like to do the work by, I connect to Bhagavan. There are some people like, I connect to Bhagavan. Very good. So you're connected to Swami? Very good. So is it possible you being connected to Bhagavan appear in the center and help the younger ones so that they can see your connection to Baba, so that you can become a role model example to them, isn't it? Yeah. So therefore, if the centers are becoming weaker because the presence of youth is not there, what will happen is that the roots will become very weak. Yeah, this is what, so we need to strengthen the roots. Yeah, back home also, we do a lot of this type of thing. How many of you are coming? What's happening? So things like that. So we need to do that. Sriram Shankar has opened this video, which means he wants to say something. Sriram?
No, Sairam.
Sairam.
And no, it was very, very, very inspiring, Brother Suresh. I think one of the questions that I had was, you talked about a lot of important aspects, right? Confidence and the ability to deal with multiple things, juggle multiple things. I think one of the big questions sometimes that the YAs have, with respect to discrimination, family commitments, work commitments, all of them seem like they are very important and right things to do. Swami says, take care of those aspects. Those are the right things to do. So it's not discriminating between right and wrong. For them, it's discriminating between right and right. It's like work commitments, familial commitments, all these are very important, and they feel it's their dharma to do that well. And at the same time, to say yes to center and to be in the center and to be in, take on multiple roles, they want to do it. I always believe that the YAs vacillate between idealism and cynicism. They say like idealism precedes experience and cynicism follows it. So the YAs in general are very ideal, actually, and they want to commit. But in the process of committing, what happens to them is they feel that they're floundering and they feel that they're sinking because they haven't yet achieved full entire confidence or balance or the equipoise that you're talking about or equanimity. And at the same time, they want to do it. So their hearts are in it, but they're struggling. And sometimes they feel that the struggle is not worth it. How do we manage that?
Okay, firstly, the last statement is what they must first change. That's the final statement. The struggle is not worth it is what we should change the attitude. The struggle is really worth it because this is in life, that is the key to everything else. So it's worth it. Question is, if it is worth it, how do we do it? Now, how do we do this is because, don't forget, I have a family, I work and everything else. So whatever I'm telling you is because all these things I've done. I mean, it is not that I'm Swamiji. Though yeah. So I have all those commitments and my family, my brothers, everything is there. So the issue here is that I realize that you need to have commitment does not necessarily mean a lot of people sometimes don't take position or don't come in the center is because they're very scared. The office work is a lot. You don't know whether what's going to happen. So this will be perpetually like that. That will be always like that. But what I am trying to tell you is that when you start giving time, just plunge and give time and energy. You don't have to worry. There is a kind of a mechanism, something happens in your system. When you go back to your own workplace, what took place 2-3 hours, you find that you can finish that work in 1 hour. Because the concentration, because the essence of education is concentration. When your whole mind is getting refined, your concentration helps you to save time. This is what that actually happened to me. The many people, I'm running around doing all the other work and also other things that I'm doing, many things I'm doing. Then how are you managing to get all the paper publication? It's not because of anything else. It's because of the fact that simple things, paper, you are able to concentrate and finish that task in a shorter time. So concentration is a very essential component. A lot of people, if you look at the time, if I do an audit with all, I'm telling you, from morning to evening, you check the number of times, number of hours we spend on some of these things, you may find that you can easily pluck time away from some of the things that we spend. So email checking, this, checking that, checking this. You find that automatically we are sometimes unconsciously spending a lot of time in this. We are saying that a Sai youth must not forsake his dharma to his family. That's very important. You must be a good husband. You must be a good wife. That's all part and parcel, an integral part of it. There's no way you should forsake all that and come. Number two, I told you the reason why the awards, all that was mentioned is because as a scientist and all this, it's all the awards were won only by excellence. It's not because of anything. Because you did all these things, somehow or other the rewards come, the awards come, and you're right in the position, right, and get those awards. So it's also an expression of excellence that you get. So I didn't forsake my career. I didn't forsake my family. And in fact, actually, I got everything together because of the simple reason of my commitment, love, engagement, and discipline to the organization and to the Swami's ideals. I think this is what the message is. So guys, point is very simple. I like to watch movies. I'm a kind of a, because I write drama scripts, for me, the whole thing is like a drama script. So I write drama. And I like to see the underdog. The movie in the beginning is an underdog. And after underdog, the thing becomes a hero. You feel good, right? At the end of the day, you feel good when you watch an underdog and you feel coming out, wow, feels like, like a Maverick movie when I saw recently. It was very nice. So when I see these things, I feel very inspired. Then you start to think, hey, I'm actually in the movie also. Why I can't be an underdog? So right now, and true enough, I was, because I failed my exam and I thought I was written off. So today, so the point is, make a story of your life. Why should you be an ordinary hero? You are the hero of your story. You are the heroine of your movie. What you are doing in this movie, the biography will become fantastic and incredible. It can become an inspirational story for others. So what you left behind, not a person. So someone reads a biography. I went from the work and came back. And I went and every day I travel. So when someone reads that biography, halfway they sleep means then your biography is not interesting. In fact, you yourself read your own biography, you'll say, my God, what a sad story. So, but the thing is, look at the roller coaster. I'm sure you have you been to the Universal Studios? I'm sure you must have. If you look at it, I love that rides and all that I used to go. So when you go for those rides, notice the higher the ride, more expensive it is, isn't it? Higher the ride, the more expensive, and the more twist and turn is interesting. So what is that? That means you ask your mother when you are young, Amma, I want to go for the roller. Where is this going to go? It's not going to go anywhere. It will come back here. If it is going to come back here, why bother going? The mother will ask you. Then, Amma, what are you talking? This is a roller coaster. It has to come back here. Where else can it go? Then the whole idea is it's not the destination. It's the journey. So that's a secret. That's why people go for roller coaster, because you're taking the train and coming back here. It's a thrill, isn't it? Right. So what is the amazing roller coaster ride that we are riding now? What is the uncertainty that we are challenging? What is the life now, the most exciting phase of life, the whole world in this state? How can I make a difference in the lives of others? Don't you think it's exciting and interesting? So if I add that dimension into my life, also take care of my family and think, why not? So for that, you must discriminate. Yes, you said rightly. But discrimination, how? To usage or management of thought. How? Management of time. How? Management of breath. That means how many of you should ask your youth, how many are meditating every day? Ask and see. Ask, because that's a tool, yeah. Medication, yes, we are taking, but meditation is, so now you're not taking okay, do you do Soham breathing? No. If you're not doing all these exercises, then how will the system be? So we are not prepared ourselves for this wonderful life that Bhagavan is giving us. Because we are doing the same thing as millions of life without the avatar of the Kali Yuga, they're also doing the same thing. So with avatar of the Kali Yuga, what is the difference in our life? That's the question. My friends, spirituality is about changing perspectives. Spirituality is changing relationship. Spirituality is managing this whole thing. Then the whole world appears to us in a different manner. Then you respond to the world, That's what spirituality is about. Not passively sitting, clapping hands and thinking that the ritual and putting the vibhuti. That is just a ritual exercise for you to develop this kind of perspective and platform. Isn't it? Once you are like this, wow, each of us will be a Vivekananda. Why one Vivekananda? There can be hundreds of Vivekananda. So Sri Ram, the point of the story is that if you demonstrate to all your friends that I'm doing this, you're going to do this on my God. And then you turn around, your career is fantastic and going well in your family. How do you do this? What's your secret? Oh, I get up in the morning, I do my meditation, really? Wow. You know, guys, let me tell you, Einstein, you know how many percent his brains he has used? You know what is his brain power? What is his percentage? You guess, Sri Ram, you guess for Einstein's brain. Roughly, how is the most intelligent man on earth anyway?
Probably 15%.
15%. Sri?
I was thinking 26.
26. Okay, Rachna.
I'd say about the same, 10 to 15%.
He has used 3.6% of his brains. The most intelligent, his brains is preserved in the museum. In your country, it's preserved here. 3.6%. And that's because they put the dye there and they check it up and they found. So they say the usage of the brains is what? 3. So Einstein, the brainiest man, has only used 3.6%. Your brain and my brain, you're using 0.0001. And we are so stressed up when you go to God and asking God, why is it that we are only 0.00? Why is it that we are so stressed up? I cannot manage. I'm overwhelmed. It's because 0.0001, you will be overwhelmed. But if you challenge your brain and increase your capacity, you have the ability to now do multiple things, isn't it? So therefore, why should the bumblebee uses only 950,000 brain cells. It can do every work that we are doing. You know that? Including communications, meeting, breeding, brooding, dying, everything the bee can do. You and I can have brain cells that can reach, the numbers can reach up to the sun. That much of brain cells. It's an insult, man. We are not utilizing our talents to the fullest potential. Number two, we're not only utilizing it, we're not managing this, but we are bogged down, and then you're overwhelmed. See, what Swami is offering is a wonderful opportunity to achieve many more things. So that's why when you come to the center, when you participate in it and help other people, participate in drama, play, do everything, participate in that whole thing. It's like a family spirit. There's a spirit, Atma. Then you don't have to worry. Next Thursday, there will be a longing. I have to go. You'll use the word, I have to go. Why? No, I need to go. Hey, what's happening now? There's the Atma, there's a kind of a Atmic pull. This Atmic pull is what that keeps it all going, Then the spirit becomes larger and larger. When the spirit becomes larger and the mind becomes lesser, okay, we are now in business.
I must say, brother Suresh, in the movie of my life, tonight is definitely a pivotal point. I think an epiphany went off. The inspiration, the motivation was definitely there. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. I think I know for me, and I know I speak for everyone else on the call, a lot that was said today has definitely sunk in. For me, action, surrender, analysis leads to paralysis, but also prioritization and time management. So lots of takeaways tonight, and we thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Are the questions finished? Have you exhausted all the questions?
Yes, we've gone through all the questions, and I know you have an international flight tomorrow. We also have some folks from the East Coast. So if there's any other questions from the group. If it is 15 minutes before the flight, I'll finish this and go. You don't have to worry. But the point is, the point of the story is that what I just wanted to re-emphasize is that
Don't take this as another session. Oh, thank you so much, Padmasri. Thank you so much for sending the link, and it was a nice speech. It's an inspiring speech. Thank you, Sairam. And that's when you put the phone down and turn back to your world and then continue to be sucked into that world. No, that's not the objective here. Objective here is to think about it, because this is your life. I cannot express anything anymore because Bhagavan is giving so much to us. Jump in, take advantage of it. I want to see actually all of you in a good position, family okay, and dynamically contributing to the younger ones. And then the whole organization will grow, the whole thing will grow. Become the hero that Swami wants us to be and the heroines that Bhagavan wants us to be as well. That's all. Simple.
Wonderful, thank you.
Question, actually, Rachna, is there time for it?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, no, I think, brother, I think you brought up a very important point. And the thing is, you talked about concentration, and especially we are such a talented generation, but we are also a very distracted generation. And we feel that sometimes the SAI organization adds to the noise in our heads. And that's the reality of it in terms of a lot of requests, inputs, this, and a lot of stuff coming in that sometimes we struggle to, manage, the multiple flurry of inputs that's coming and requests that's coming from multiple angles. So Brother Suresh, in terms of when you were growing up as a youth, what sort of practices enabled you to prepare yourself for this role, to prepare yourself to be so multidimensional, to be, to be ready to take on so many things at the same time?
Guys, I just wanted to enjoy my life. That's all. Everybody is looking for enjoyment only, isn't it? Hey, check it out. Hey, check it out. Check it. So everybody is going out and checking it out, everything out. So I decided to check out this part of it. When people say bliss, what is bliss? I wanted to know. So when I want to know something and I want to experience it, that earnestness is there to experience it. So the focus is on something that is, what is it? What is it? So it's exciting. So I got involved in drama, plays. I staged many plays. We staged 12 plays in front of Bhagwan Baba, 12 dramas, taking the whole troop. And drama rehearsals are a lot, day and night. And nowadays you have all these computers, but those days we have to sit in the spool room and cut the thing and spice it up. We will spend days and nights, at that time doing the tape recording and all that, and acting, makeup, this, that, and bring the whole troop. I've written more than 70, 80 scripts, dramas. We also have been sponsored by the government to stage dramas. We have taken it out to many, many states and got the other communities to come, acting by other people from not only Sai, but from other faiths as well. So bringing religions together. And the orchestra, we've got a interfaith orchestra now, which is really doing very well. So the point is we were involved in all these things not because someone told us that we should get involved, not because that we need to, because it's fun, exciting, because it's not done before. If not done before, why not? So anything that is not done by anybody, why it gives a lot of thrill, a lot of things. Can it be done? Is it achievable? Like this darts thing. See, maybe even the government people didn't believe that it could be done. The school people, headmasters told me it's not necessary. See, we did that program. We took the youth into the schools and when people tell me it cannot be done, it excites me because it's a thrill. Remember your mission, Jim. Ding, 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 ding. So when you have that kind of exciting life, you lead that life, exciting life. I can't believe, and I'm so happy and glad that Bhagwan gave that necessary inspiration. But to think that after 60 couple of years, and then just to think that I've gone to the lab and came back home and gone to the lab and just so continue to do, I tell you, what a way. If I just focused on my work and came back, I think it's the most monotonous, dimensionless, boring, dull. But the fact is, everything, boom, explode, like that. So that is why, because I want to see what is it that we can do, isn't it? Sriram. Yeah. Second point, Baba said, don't forget two things. What is that? Death and God. Don't forget death. So when I'm dying now, and I've seen many people dying, sometimes in the ICU, and that, why is it in ICU? Because God is telling you, I want to see you. So now, in the ICU, when you, let's say I'm sitting here, what is it that I can take? I can take what? I can take all my papers, publication, award, reward. What can I take? I can only take my experiences. I cannot take anything. I cannot take anyone. So why is it that I'm not able to increase my experiences in life? Explore as much as I can. Wow, that's a fantastic thing, isn't it? Once I increase all these experiences, it's fantastic. And I connect to people, help people. So when you lead a life of this nature, it's exciting, thrilling, interesting, enthusiasm. So this passion must be there in our life. This same passion, you exert it in your workplace. Other people cannot finish it. You can finish it faster. Sister, boss, why not we do this? My God, I didn't think about it. How are you thinking about it? Oh, that's because we are in the SSSIO youth and we are told to be passionate, and there you are. And that you never even come to claim credit because we are totally selfless. My God. And I scolded you the other day and you were not affected because I dedicated all actions and reactions to the world out there. My God, what kind of a mind are you? We are youth. See, where are you in the whole organization? Where are you? You are there. Different thinking, different style, different ability, different capability. That is what SSSIO is all about. Uniqueness, difference. That is what we must make. So, my dear friends, the journey starts from wherever you want to start, but become like people are sitting and listening to this. Those of you who come from the SSSIO centers, make a commitment, go back to the centers, go back to the organization. You said a lot of information, flurry information is coming from the organization. We are not able to process it. Put a whole list of things, concerns that you have as far as organization is concerned. If you think certain things are not, put a long concern, put a cumulative force, address those issues. Don't generalize, adults are not listening to us. Okay, let's say we have proposed. Which adult is not listening? From which center are you having problem? Categorize that problem. As leaders, go to that root of the cause of the problem. It could be one uncle or somebody who's doing that. Find out what it is. Probably he must have misunderstood that. Diffuse it. Our job is to throw water and diffuse the fire, not increase the oil. So leadership is about addressing issues. Number two, everybody, we are not, who's we? That means there are 155 centers, let's say you have. Which centers are red centers? Which centers are yellow centers? Which center are green centers? Green centers are high pockets of youth and they're very active. And so you got no problems with it. But yellow centers are centers that you got sporadic pockets. But red centers are centers that you don't have. Okay, can the active youth members here in this center, can you help that center to grow? So there, once you're growing with this concern, so you as leaders, you match that so that our journey is by 100th birthday, everywhere you will have big pockets of youth in the center. People who are confused and ask what is your confusion and help them to address this confusion. There's no, actually, to be honest, there's absolutely no confusion if your mind is very clear and very precise in your thinking process. The trouble is when this is confused, whenever information comes to us, we just seem to continuously get more and more confused because the thinking process has been affected. That's why I told in the retreat, transformation is not in the way you behave. Transformation is not the way you act. Transformation should be in the way you think. Because the way you think can change the way you behave, and the way you acting, all will change. So thinking is where we need to change. Make sense?
Makes sense.
So Brother Suresh, I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up and pass us over to Surya Lakshmi Auntie in just a second. Just one last question before we wrap up. You had touched a little bit about the adult and YA gap, and there is one more question that had come up about that. In all your work that you've done with the youth, how can youth address issues and toxicity when adults may come in and say, this isn't the way to do it, we don't do it this way? How can we address that, and how can we move past that to do proper service?
So when I was the president of the SSSIO Council, I saw this happening in one state. So I called all the center chairpersons and I called all the center youth leaders and I made them sit one-to-one. So I just said, I gave them 2 hours or so, and they were harmonizing expectations. That means, what is my expectation? What is your expectation? Then there's a talk. And I facilitated the talk between center chairpersons and youth leaders. So center leaders, you regional leaders should organize this at regional levels, getting center leaders and youth leaders to come inside and have that meeting in a specific workshop in a specific place. At the end of the day, I ask them, now report back. What is it? Yes, there was an issue and now we have addressed the issue. Most of the thing is just people don't talk. Most of the issues people have is people don't talk. There'll be one incident like that. And then suddenly, the uncles are not knowing, they are not able to, Guys, listen, as youth, let me tell you, one day when I finished first time when I came to SSSIO movement, you see, there was a Christmas program. And I always want to do something unique. So I brought the Christian brothers and sisters from the church to perform in the center, SSSIO center. So after bhajan, we moved back and the Christian boys and girls danced. So I didn't know because I thought, and suddenly when they were dancing, they were holding each other's hands. And it was in their tradition, they can do it. Here, our people got very upset. And they looked at me and said, brother, next week, which center are you planning to migrate to? And they started to go for me. And then one of the senior uncles really scolded me like anything, really. See, why didn't you look at the thing? Well, how can this size? I was really very upset. So when I went back, I called Brother Jaga and told him, because this is my first attempt and people were throwing. So he said, if you want to be a youth leader and if you want to be a youth, understand one thing. Life is not about throwing bouquets. Life is also about people can throw brickbats. Whether when they throw bouquet and brickbats, are you the same? Well, that changed really your perspective, you know. So when you are criticized, don't simply say criticize. There are people who will criticize. In your workplace, if you criticize, you won't go back to work. And then you should, still my boss scolded me, you know, that's why I'm not going to work. Okay, practice the same attitude now in your own workplace. How come you go back? Hey, salary. So you must have the same resilience and perseverance that you have in the workplace. Have it here. If that uncle said something, it doesn't matter. Now come back, because he is not blocking you from your moksha or your mukti. We have to go back again and practice. That's why leaders must have all the center chairpersons and center youth leaders to sit together, facilitate a workshop. Let me tell you, this is what you must immediately do now. In all the 155 centers, see whether this exercise is done. Put a list of questions. What is my expectation? What is your expectation? What do you expect me to do? So start getting engagement like this in a very positive way. If you have, at the end of your exercise, you find that the person is still stubborn, write the letter. Send it to the regional letter. Then we take it up from there at the top. What's your problem? Why? How come this proposal is not accepted? Then let's just educate the elders also to make sure it's accepted. But at this point of time, when we generalize it, we can't solve the issues. If we just, like that. So we need to be proactive to make sure that we need to move ahead in this manner, in a proactive manner. Address issues, but don't make the issue personality. This is the difference. Don't convert an issue to a personality. Address only issues. Don't worry about personalities, because personalities are not the issue here. Issue is that's the issue. So when you are doing like this, mind becomes extremely objective. When you are objective, you're powerful. You're an organization person. Don't forget, many of you will inherit this organization in 5, 10 years time, 5 years time. You may be inheriting this. So we need to create a system, guys, youth leaders, where if you're here, bring your youth movement up here, bring it high. Then when you step down, the other new leader comes up. Wow, you set a very high standard, you know. Yes, now take it higher. Take it higher. That's what it is. Not when you're like this and then, you know, brother, I'm only going to be here for 4 years. So I just manage it and then I'll try and push somebody else to the position. Brother, don't worry, brother. We are behind you, brother. You take it up and then we step aside and push this guy there. And that guy will turn behind. Nobody will be around also. And then we just hover around at this level. That's wrong leadership. Whenever you are in this position, take as much as you can to take it to a very high level. Leave behind legacies. Then you say, hey, hello. Those who are sitting in this position, it is this level. I gave my life 4 years of my commitment to this position. Now I'm stepping aside. Don't you dare bring it down. Bring it up now, higher. Then the youth movement will fly like nobody's business. It will really go very high, because it's all at a altitude level. That means where is your altitude will depend upon what altitude we are flying.
Very wonderful way to end this. Thank you so much, Brother Suresh. I'll turn it over to Surya Lakshmi Ponchecharla. She's our SSSIO-USA female advisor, just to wrap us up and give some concluding remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachna. Thank you, Sri, for both of you facilitating and taking all the questions. Brother Suresh, I don't know how to even summarize. I don't even want to try that. You know, you definitely infuse some energy and inspiration into the youth to, you know, fly high with the right attitude and, you know, adopt and, you know, adapt. You know, I definitely feel that there are really lots of nuggets and then practical aspects that you have given, and we're hoping that the youth would take this you know, advice and then kind of start flying high and take it to a different level that you are encouraging the youth to take on. So thank you for you know, spending so much time with everybody, and then thank you for all the advice as well, and we hope you have a safe and pleasant trip back home, and we hope to reconnect with you again. And I you know, we would love to have you and your advice again. So thank you so much for being with us. Definitely thoughtful and insightful and inspirational.
Yeah. I just want to finish, Sister. Nice. Thank you so much for those concluding words. But I just want to say one last line. If nobody is coming, can you go and do it? Because what is critical is we don't wait for the crowd. If something needs to be done, just go. Don't worry, the crowd will come. Don't look back and don't look here. Connect to the resource. You will get all resource. Don't wait for the resource and get disconnected from the source. It's all punch dialogues, you all better write down properly. So the fact is, connect to the source, all resources. So nobody come, you organize something, don't worry whether people are coming or not. 5 people, go, get it done, finish. You don't have, Swami's grace will be plentifully flowing and others will start to come. Create benchmark, create legacy, create vision. That's what we are here for. And that is what spiritual people are supposed to be doing. And in the process, transform yourself, increase, develop love, and get our desired blessings and grace, because Baba said, grace is proportional to effort. I think that's a powerful line to conclude. Grace is proportional to effort. Sai Ram. Thank you so much.